Have you ever found yourself starting strong, but struggling to stay consistent? Or have you ever wondered why motivation seems to fade, but for some people, it seems to flow? Well, stay by, because this episode is for you. In today's Blueprints, we're talking about how momentum becomes effortless, how to design rhythm so your body, your habits, and your life move in harmony. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. I am in the business of helping you to stay healthy, for you to take charge of your life, for you to be around for those things that are so important to you, the connections that you have with your family and with your community. Together, we're going to the next level, and we are building a life of limitless limits. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments, because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And welcome you here so that I can say hello, give you some shout outs, some kudos, some props, let you know that I'm excited that you're here. If you do have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments, and make sure you put a Q in front of them so that we will get to those, because I want to make sure that we help you answer those important things that are on your mind. We've got some important things that we're going to look at. We've got our monitors. Let's go ahead, and I've got my monitors off to the side that we'll take a look at. I've got my report down right below me, my Dexcom Clarity Report. So many different things that we're looking at as we go through this episode this evening. Wherever you're joining me from, go ahead and drop that in the comments. If you are here in the United States, around the country, of course, we've got folks from Ohio and Nebraska and Georgia, Alabama here, of course, New York, Tennessee. We've got some folks from Florida. We've got some folks from Texas. Well, wherever you're from, go ahead and drop that. And of course, all of our folks who are joining us from overseas, we welcome you as well. And then a special shout out to our Accelerator members. We're so glad that you are here and that you're coming along and hanging out in this space with us. All right, so let's go ahead. We are going to take a look at our monitors here in just a minute, but let me go ahead and let's pop over. We're going to look at our Move campaign promo. And so for those of you who have been following us in Move, we are on our show this week. Last week we were a little off on our schedule. We've not forgotten. We're going to be doing some things coming up, and go ahead and jump back in. And the shows that we did last week, go ahead and begin looking through those, because we're coming back to you with some fresh and new things. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at that promo right now. Welcome to Move, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started. So very excited about that series. So make sure that you join us as we are optimizing our metabolism. Let's go ahead and let's hop over. We're going to take a look at our monitors here. Give me just a second to get this up. All right. So I've got my Dexcom Clarity. I've got my Keto Mojo. Of course, I've got my Libre that we'll be taking a look at. Let's go ahead and hop over there right now. All right, so here we are. There we go. Okay, so here is my monitor, and what you're looking at right now, this is my Dexcom. This is my Dexcom G7 that you're seeing there. My blood sugar, according to Dexcom right now, is 121. And if I scroll down here and look a little lower down, we'll see that this is my graph over the last 24 hours. We're going to go ahead and begin running my finger across that so you can see what that is showing. Look at that. See, we're staying in the 130s, 140s over the course of the last 24 hours. 120s, 120s, 112s, 130s. This, of course, is this morning up to about 120, 130. And then through the course of the day, here is lunch right in here. And yeah, up to 130s, 140s. And then back down as we got into the rest of the afternoon. And then popped up to where we are right about now at 121. Okay? All right, and then let's go ahead and let's hop over to, this is my Freestyle Libre. This is a Freestyle Libre 3 Plus, and you see my blood sugar is 89 according to that. And the Libre tends to be lower than the Dexcom. We'll see what it is in comparison to these other monitors here in just a minute. And so here we are. Let's see, so if I run my finger across that, in the 100s, 103, 104, 90s. And so for most of today in the 90s, and then right here is lunch again, up to about 114, and then back down, and then dropping down into, and then this evening up to about 102, and then back down to where we are right now. If I look at the insights, looking at the reports, here's my time in range, and here's my time in range for the last 7 days. And you see there, I'm in range 81% of the time. And then down below, you'll see 18%. So the combination of that is 100%. And those lows that you're seeing, those are lows that happen when I am fasting. Okay? And then 14 days, 30 days, and then, of course, here we are at 90 days. And then getting out of that and going into my the average, and you'll see this number right here, this line, that's my average for the last 7 days, last 14 days, last 30 days, and then, of course, here's my average for the last 90 days. And what I like about this is that I can actually look at this broken out according to the different times of the day. And you'll see that there, ranging anywhere from 86 to 95. And I like this because I can pinpoint different parts of the day and be able to tell what's going on, and of course making decisions on what to do based on what's happening with my blood sugars at different times of the day. So that's one of the reasons I really like that. So now let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go over to my reports and to my monitors. So here is my Keto Mojo, and then here is my contour, and then going into my container, I need a brown for blood sugars, I need a blue for ketones, and then I need some strips for the contour. And then, of course, I need right here, here's some Lancets. Let's get this actually over to this side. All right, and so I've got my Lancets. And let me go ahead and put this back on the screen so you can see what those numbers are in comparison. Well, first let me do this. Let me get the finger prick. And so let's go ahead and open this up. So here is my contour. So get that strip out. Get that into that monitor. And then I'm going to open up the Keto Mojo test strip for glucose. Get that one going. Gave me an error. So let's go ahead and get that out again, and then just pop that back in. There we go. And then, of course, here is the one for the ketone. And I'm going to just open this one just to have it off to the side and have it ready. And then, of course, grabbing one of these Lancets. And we've been picking on this finger, so we're going to go ahead and do that one. And here we are. And there we go. All right, and that's a pretty good drop. And let's go ahead and get that started. get a drop over here on the contour to get that started. And so 102, let's go ahead and get this back up. So 102 is what the Keto Mojo says. 105 is what the contour says. 89, you'll see there, is what the Libre says. And then if I go over to the Dexcom is 102. And as you can see, these two are pretty close to each other. The Libre is, let's see, where's the freestyle? Let's go back here. So here's the Libre. So this is about, what, 10-ish points, 10, 11, 12 points away. And then the Dexcom is about 20 points away on either side, okay? So that's what we're seeing there. And let's go ahead and make sure we can keep a drop available for the ketone. So let's go ahead and get the ketone strip here. Boom, boom, boom. And here we are. And get that going. Let's see, was that enough? Yeah, there it was. Let's get started. And so 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And ketones are low, okay? So remember that ketones that are below 0.5 are considered normal, so right here. Ketones that are 0.5 to 1.5 are considered nutritional ketosis. And then ketones that are above 1.5 are considered therapeutic ketosis. If you're in a ketogenic diet, if you're in a fasting mimicking diet, if you are trying to remain in ketosis, then you will want ketones that are 0.5 or higher. And so that's usually where we want those to be. I won't pull up the Keto Mojo app right now. When we do our fasting when we do our check-in on Wednesday at 40, so it's 33 hours, and then on Thursday at 56 hours, and then of course on Friday, when we do our complete review, we'll have that. We'll do more conversation about ketones and what they mean, what we want them to be, and so forth. Okay, so make sure you join us for those. And then of course on tomorrow we'll do our pop-up as we go ahead and get started with our fasting as we go through that. Okay, all right. And so let's go ahead and say hello. I see community members out there. So let's go ahead and let's do this. And so Kenti's doing smiley face. Hey, what's going on, Kenti? Thank you for coming through. And let's see. Looks like you were guessing ketones of 0.3. Were you guessing ketones, or are those what your ketones are at this point? Yeah, so 0.3, and that would be considered in the range of normal as well. Okay. And then let's go ahead and I'm gonna hop over and take a look at my reports. Here is my Dexcom Clarity report. And you'll see my average blood sugar there is 110 over the last 14 days. Time in range, 95. So 95% of the time I'm in range, and the range being anywhere from 70 to 180. And my 14-day average is 5.9 for my glucose management indicator. So if I were to get an A1C based on these numbers, this is where I would expect it to be. Looking at the 90-day average, we'll see that my average over the last 90 days, 116. We usually tell people we want those averages to be between 100 and 120. Here is my time in range, 98%. 70 to 180 is the range, and my glucose management indicator, or my surrogate, if you will, for the A1C is 6.1. Okay, so that's where we are right now, and that's right in keeping with what we say we want in terms of blood sugars. And then let's hop back over, and I see some more of our community members. So Kenti was guessing, I believe, 0.3 for ketones. Cornelia saying hi, Dr. Woode, Kenti, and LLG. And then hello, everyone. Kenti said guessing yours. Okay, so you were guessing what mine was. And then So Pam, we said hello, and then Cornelia saying hi to Pam. Just an amazing community that we are a part of. And so let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's begin our conversation, because this is a I know I always say it's a good one, but I really. So when I cook, I like to make curry chicken. I like to make curry in general. Okay, and I have to admit, my recipe is getting better and better each time. If you've not seen me cook, go ahead and watch one of the shows where we do that. And it's not because I suddenly found better spices or some secret ingredient. It's because I have a pattern. Every time I cook, I follow that pattern. And it's called a recipe, a sequence of steps that I've learned, refined, and repeated over and over. The way I heat the oil, the moment I add the onions and the garlic, and when I put the jeera in there, and how I saute it, the exact time I stir in the turmeric and the garlic, and I drop the curry in there. As a matter of fact, this starts even before I get to the pot, because there's a way that I cut the chicken. There are certain seasonings I have, and I recently took a video of the seasonings on the counter. And over time, that pattern has created something consistent, something I can trust. That pattern has become a rhythm, and that rhythm created consistency. So when I taste my curry now, it tastes the same as it did when I created it the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. That's the power of rhythm. Whether you're cooking, whether you're training, whether you're healing, or whether you're building a business, mastery comes from pattern. It comes from repetition that refines, from rhythm that teaches. In every masterpiece of design, there is a pulse, a pattern that carries movement through the structure, predictability, stability. It's steady, it's alive. That pulse is what we call rhythm. Without rhythm, even the best plans can collapse under the chaos of life, or just under something that happens that throws you off course. But when rhythm takes hold, discipline seems and feels natural. You don't fight to stay on track. You actually flow on track. And when you are diverted because life will happen, the flow brings you back into alignment. Today, we're exploring blueprints for rhythm, how momentum becomes effortless. Because once you understand rhythm, you stop forcing consistency and you start designing it. And that's our conversation for tonight. So, finding healthy rhythms, how momentum becomes effortless. So, why do rhythms actually matter? Why do rhythms actually matter? They matter because discipline is easier when it becomes a rhythm, right? Patterns don't just make curry better. They make everything better. It doesn't just make my recipe better. What a recipe is to food, rhythm is to life. It's the set of steps that carries your energy forward without forcing it. Every system runs on rhythm. Your heartbeat, lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. Your breathing, the tide, the seasons, all of it moves in a repeated pattern that creates stability. That same principle applies to your health, your habits, your relationships. Without rhythm, life feels random. One day you're on track, the next day you're exhausted. Next day you're doing well, the other day you're unsure, and you don't know why. But with rhythm, your days start to hold each other together. Energy becomes repeatable. Focus comes easier. Decisions take less effort because rhythm removes the friction. It removes the problems. Think of rhythm as the current that carries your design. Routine repeats. Rhythms respond. It's not rigid. It's alive. It flexes when pressures come. And that's what makes it sustainable. When you live in rhythm, you're not reacting to the world, you're cooperating with it. If you've ever tried to play an instrument, and I've tried, you know this. You don't start with speed. You start with timing. Because timing is what makes everything else sound right. The same is true for health, and the same is true when you are looking for purpose. When you find your timing, your rhythm, you can handle complexity without chaos. You can improve without losing your place in the song. That's why rhythm matters. It's not about doing more. It's about moving with more meaning. Yeah. It's the quiet structure underneath the success. The pulse that holds your purpose steady when motivation fades. That's why rhythm is important. So, if rhythm is so foundation to flow, how do we build it? Let's look at the science, the way your mind and your design works, how they come together to make rhythm automatic. So this is a pattern that happens. There's discipline, structure. There's a rhythm, repeated structure. And then there's the flow, the ease. Predictability produces peace. Rhythm isn't magic. It's actually wiring. What feels like fluid, what feels like flow, is actually your brain, your body, and your behavior learning to move together. When your design repeats the right things, when it does it often enough, it teaches itself how to stay in motion. Neuroplasticity. Your body is making connections. It is designing and is strengthening those synapses so that it becomes muscle memory. Here's the science behind it. Every time you repeat an aligned behavior, your brain builds a shortcut to that behavior. Neurons that fire together wire together. That's neuroplasticity. Repetition lowers resistance until effort becomes energy. You try to play the piano and your fingers go directly to the keys where they were not doing that before. Dopamine plays a part too. Not just the chemical of reward, but it also is the chemical of anticipation. It fires when the brain expects a positive outcome. So when you create predictability, when you create a pattern, your brain relaxes. It says, I'm safe. It knows what's coming next. And that predictability produces peace. This is why people burn out when they chase motivation. Motivation is inconsistent. Wiring is dependable. It is there. Rhythm takes that motivation and turns it into anticipation. Think about a musician practicing scales. And I've got someone in my house that I want so much to be a musician. At first, every note is work, putting the fingers on the keys and doing the scales, la 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 la, right? And it's like hitting wrong keys. But after enough repetition, the hands move by memory. The mind is free to improve, to get better. The mind is free now to think about creativity because it doesn't have to worry about the structure. That's why rhythm happens. That's what it does in health and in life. When meal timing, fasting windows, or daily walks become familiar, your mind is free to focus on higher things, on purpose, on creativity, on connections. The energy once used to force habits is now fueling growth. When there's patterns, when there are rhythms, your brain says, I don't have to put my energy into doing that anymore. That's automatic. That's the neurology. That's the neurologic miracle of rhythm. Discipline becomes design. You stop thinking your way through every decision because your system already knows the way. But inside limitless living, rhythm goes deeper than wiring. It isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are as well. Let's talk about the two meanings of rhythm that shape every life you build. So the two meanings of rhythm. Rhythm is who you are, and it's how you move through time. When I first created the RAS Rhythm Alignment Structure Model, I realized something simple but powerful. Most people try to build new habits without ever defining who they are or why they move. Rhythm solves that because rhythm isn't just about what you repeat, it's about what repeats you. Inside Limitless Living, rhythm has two meanings, and they work together like melody and percussion. The first is rhythm as identity. This answers the question, who am I and what drives me? It's the inner cadence, the flow of your purpose, your faith, your values. It's the heartbeat of your calling, the pattern of your convictions. When you're in rhythm with your purpose, you move through life with clarity and with confidence. The buffering that we often talk about, that people do, where they are blunting, they're avoiding, they are numbing, that comes often because there's a disconnect between what they're doing and what they think they need to do and who they are and what they were designed to do. Come on. The second meaning of rhythm is as behavior. This is the cadence of your actions, how you live your purpose in real time. It's the tempo of your consistency, the pattern of your flow as you do your follow through. Every choice, every routine, every boundary is a beat. When those beats match the song of your purpose, you feel coherence. When they clash, you feel conflict. And that's why so many people feel out of sync. I'm not quite sure what's happened, but I just don't feel like myself. Their behavior and beliefs are playing in two different keys, and they're going in discordant directions. Going back to our illustration of music, I want you to picture, or building. I want you to picture an architect and a builder. They're working on the same project. The architect holds the vision, the drawing, the purpose, the why, and the builder holds the tools, the skill, the actions on how to do things. When they stay in sync, the structure rises with ease. But if the architect keeps changing the plans or the builder ignores the blueprint, the project slows, it costs more, and frustrations take over. Life works the same way. When who you are, your design, your purpose and your vision, and what you do, your behavior, your habits, your execution work together, rhythm becomes effortless. You stop fighting yourself. Come on. When you do this, your days start to fit your design. That's the secret of rhythm in limitless living. When identity and behavior harmonize, discipline is no longer forced, it's expressed. You're not trying to live in rhythm. You've become the rhythm itself. It lives inside you. So there are those two definitions. So now that we know rhythm starts within and shows up through your actions, how do we bring it into the day-to-day? Let's design your day and the pulse of it. The rhythm that keeps your purpose alive every 24 hours. And this is what we term the inner design loop. Right? We're going to design your day. Because when we design your rhythm, we are not drifting into it. We don't want it to just happen. So rhythm is not found by accident. It's designed on purpose. Every 24 hours gives you a blank blueprint, a new chance to live your identity in motion. We all get 1,440 minutes in a day. Everybody. Every day you're handed out. That's your allotment. 1,440 minutes. What we do with it depends on the blueprint that we've created. It depends on the blueprint that is in play. We have a new chance to live our identity every single day. This is where rhythm becomes practical. We use the inner design loop, what I call your daily pulse. And you'll recall, we talked about anchoring, alignment, and adaptation. But let's go a little finer. This is just another way of looking at rhythm, alignment, and structure. Think of your day as a circle, not as a line, and every moment along that circle connects to the next. And the end of the day, the end of the circle, connects to the beginning of the next day. And each loop teaches you how to move with more precision. Every time you go around the loop, you are informing the next moment based on what happened the last moment. Morning is your awareness and your intention. Remember, the last section of the loop informs the next. Before the world asks anything of you, check in with yourself. Ask, what kind of energy do I want to carry today? What kind of person am I today? What are my priorities today? And how has yesterday informed what I do today? That's the beginning. In the morning. Maybe in the midday, you bring action and alignment. This is where you translate your purpose into practice. You move, you create, you contribute, you have meetings. But you protect that time. When your focus is sharpest, that's your performance window. Often what we do is we use our time when our energy is decreasing to give to the times when we need the most focus and the most energy. Action and alignment. And in the evening, we reflect and we realign. I've talked about bookending, where I sit down at the end of the day or even before I leave the office and I do what I call a brain dump. And at the end of the day, I sit down and I look back to see, hey, what did I do today? And what do I need to carry into tomorrow? What do I do better? So instead of collapsing into bed, take 2 minutes and ask, what went right? What drifted? What will I adjust tomorrow? That 3-part rhythm, intention, action, reflection, becomes the metronome of growth. Do it this week and see, you'll feel your life settle into a beat you can trust. Picture an architect reviewing the same blueprints every single morning. Do you know that that's what happens? They come in and they look and say, okay, what's the blueprint? What are we supposed to be doing? Did we do that? What do we do today? Not to change the pattern, not to change the plan, but to stay aligned with it. Every day's work connects back to the design. The repetition doesn't limit creativity. It actually protects creativity. Your daily pulse works the same way. It keeps your freedom anchored inside form. It's the structure that allows flow to stay fluid. Otherwise, we drift. So don't chase perfect days. Chase patterns. Rhythm rewards repetition, not rigidity. Miss a step? Adjust. Don't abandon. Each correction keeps the pulse alive. But even the best rhythms can be interrupted. Travel, stress, sickness, they all pull the tempo off beat. The question isn't whether your rhythm will be tested. It's how quickly you can turn around and return to the flow. So let's talk a little bit about recovery and how to resync when life hits pause. So, recovering from disruption. It's feedback, not failure. Resilience is the rhythm of recovery. Every rhythm skips a beat. No matter how consistent you are, life will interrupt the flow. And when it does, the goal isn't perfection, it's recovery. There is a beat to the heart. Lub, dub, lub, dub, lub, dub. The heart wants to keep going, but there's a pause. There's an interruption. And for the heart to work properly, that interruption has to be there. In fact, it is when we don't have the appropriate amount of interruption, the appropriate pause, that we have an arrhythmia where the heart is beating in such a way that that pause is not either long enough or it's abnormal, and so the heart goes into a flutter. Even the strongest system will drift. Stress, travel, sickness, grief, each can pull your rhythm off tempo. But losing rhythm doesn't mean you failed. It means your system is receiving feedback. In physiology, your body maintains balance not through stability, but through correction. I'm a hormone doctor. And the body sends hormones throughout the system. And in the body, there are things that are reading how much hormone that's there and sending it back to the brain, and the brain is adjusting how much hormone it sends out again. I want you to hear that. So there's this constant feedback loop. It's not the same all the time. It's kind of like you driving on the road. You don't go the same speed the whole time. You slow down, you speed up. You're going uphill, so you got to press harder. You're going downhill, so you ease up on the gas. The same thing is happening in our body. Same thing has to happen in our mind. The same thing has to happen in our day. It's called homeostasis. Constant micro adjustments that keep you alive. Your life works the same way. When your fasting window slips or your sleep shortens, don't push, don't punish, don't chastise yourself. Pause and pivot. Ask 3 questions. Number 1, what changed in my environment? Because something changed. What signal is my body or my mind sending to me? Because it is talking to you. What's one micro adjustment I can make right now? Because it doesn't have to be all or none. These questions are your tuning fork. They bring your rhythm back into pitch. Think of a drummer, mid-performance, who drops a stick. He doesn't stop the song. He catches the next beat and keeps going. One of the things I love to listen and I love to watch musicians. I fancy myself one. And it is interesting to me to see a musician who I know made a mistake. But what they do is they bring it into what they're already playing. And if you're not paying attention, you never know, because it blends right in. That's what resilience looks like. It's not staying flawless. It's staying faithful to the flow. Every recovery strengthens the groove. The same is true for your heart. Same is true for your lungs. Same is true for your health, your habits, your purpose. The more times you recover, the stronger your rhythm becomes. Resilience isn't staying unbroken. It's learning how to resync. Each setback is a chance to refine your sound. Every correction makes the rhythm smoother next time. And in fact, come on. Here's the thing. Those same musicians who make mistakes, those same athletes who make mistakes, we celebrate them because sometimes they build the mistake into their future. They come up with a creative way of maybe even using that as part of their thing. And the beautiful part is when rhythm matures, recovery becomes natural. You stop counting how often you fail, how often you fall, how often you go off step. because your system knows how to find its way back. That's when rhythm stops being discipline and starts being identity. Let's talk a little bit about that. Predictability. Predictability creates freedom. Predictability and predictable energy creates freedom. When rhythm matures, effort turns into ease. The purpose of rhythm isn't to keep you busy. It's to keep you from becoming or getting off track. When rhythm settles in, you stop fighting to maintain. And your progress starts to carry you. That's the beauty of momentum. Once it gets started, it becomes this force that is almost unstoppable. Mature rhythm doesn't feel like control. It feels like cooperation. You begin to move with life instead of against it. Think about the natural world. Think about nature. The sun rises and it sets, not by willpower, but by design. Rivers carve canyons, not by force, but by steady, consistent flow. Trees bend in the wind and still stay standing tall. That's rhythm in motion. Persistence without panic. And when you live that way, you begin to experience peace even in progress, even in chaos. Your meals find their cadence. Your sleep restores instead of escapes. Your decisions stop pulling in opposite directions because they're now guided by the same pulse, your purpose. You'll know rhythm when it's gotten to the point of maturity, when rest no longer feels like guilt, when actions no longer feel like obligation, and when your consistency stops needing an applause. Rhythm teaches you that success isn't a single push. It's a sustained pattern of persistence. It's who you become while you keep showing up. It's who you're becoming while you keep showing up. When rhythm and meaning merge, you don't have to force discipline. It flows naturally out of identity. That's the freedom of design. Because there's a design, because there's predictability, predictable energy that carries you forward even in the days when motivation doesn't show up. And that's what the blueprints is all really about. Learning to live in rhythm with yourself, to let your design and your discipline finally agree. We let them come together. So let's pull it all together. Let's pull this all together. What does this mean? There is a discipline that's easier when it becomes rhythm. Let me say it again. When discipline or when rhythm takes over, the discipline no longer has to be a problem. Rhythm is the architect of ease. It's what happens when your design and your discipline agree with each other. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about being present every day. It's the steady, heartbeat of your system, the habits, your purpose. When you live in rhythm, you don't need constant reminders or endless motivation. The system itself keeps you steady. So build your rhythm, protect it, let it carry you, because when rhythm takes over, I want you to hear me, life stops feeling like a chase and it starts feeling like flow. How does momentum become easy? How does it become flow? It becomes that because of the rhythm we create. The Blueprints series is designed to help you walk through that pathway. We'll be back in our next episode as we talk about how we continue to build this rhythm to be successful in our health. All right, all right. I am so excited, y'all. Do you want to know why I'm excited? Because the Blueprints series keeps unfolding in ways that in way deeper ways than I thought. More than just change. It's about design. We're used to pushing the boulder uphill. We're used to hearing try harder, stay motivated, be more disciplined. But Blueprint says something different. It says you don't need more pressure, you need a pattern. You don't need more motivation, you need a rhythm. You've already had the desire. It's there. You've already had some success. Now it's about building a cadence that keeps success alive. That's what this week is all about, the rhythm. How momentum becomes effortless, how to find a flow that holds even when life gets messy. Because your health, your focus, your energy, they shouldn't depend on your mood. They shouldn't depend. You know what? Can I be honest for a minute? Can I tell you? This last week has been a bit trying for me. And I had, if you're in the community, you know some of what happened over the course of the last couple of days, like last week really. And it has been so tempting, right, to get into myself and to stay there. But the thing that continues me pushing forward is rhythm. I shared with you last week or the week before that one of my whys, who I am, is there's a young man that's growing up in my house, and part of my goal is to help him to get out successfully, to help him to launch successfully, for help him to be in his life successfully. And if I wanted to be there to see that and to help him through those challenges that he is going to go through, I have to be healthy. I have to be here. I have to have a rhythm that doesn't depend on what's going on around me at the time, that still takes me successfully through the process. Because I'm going to throw my hands up. Because there are times, y'all, when it would be easy to say, yeah, I'm tired today. I'm not doing this today. I'm going to get some Cadbury chocolate. But the thought comes, what does it look like if I am not there for him? What do I rob him of in his life? if I'm not there? Who in your life, and his name is Blake, who's your Blake? Who is the person? What is the thing? That is the thing that tugs at your heart. And you say, I gotta be here. Who's that person? Who's your Blake? Because if he's gonna be successful, then I gotta be successful here in this space. And our goal is not just about a number. It's not just about a scale. It's not just about a blood sugar. It's about, are we going to be around for the things that are most important in our lives? Maybe you like to fish. Maybe you like to draw. Maybe you're a musician. And you want to teach your children, your grandchildren, your you want to pass that on to them. There's so much wealth of knowledge and experience and richness that's in you. And that needs to be infused into your family, into that next generation. You have got to be around. You've got to be healthy for that. So our goal is to help you to retake control. You don't need inner power. You don't need to be Superman or Superwoman. What you need is a plan that you could trust, a design you can follow, and the gumption and the power to keep showing up. Rhythm. And so I encourage you in all of this, not to just make this a thing out there that they're telling me to do. Think about you, your house, your family, your grandchildren. None of that is negotiable. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to be around, you got to take charge of your health and your life. Go to the next level and create that life that is without limits. And that's what we do. That's what I do here. We walk that path with you so that you can be successful, so you can be around for a long, healthy, fulfilling life. Hey, I'm so excited when I get to hang out with you. And I see some of our community members. Let me go ahead. I'm going to pop back over here and let's see. Where did we go? Hi, Dr. Okay, here we are. So Teresa, let's see. Yeah, Teresa said, hey, Dr. Cornelia, Pam, Kenty. Hey, Teresa from Cornelia. Hey, Kenty, Cornelia, and Teresa. Teresa says, hey, Steve. Hi, Steve from Cornelia. Pam, Teresa, Steve. Hello, LLG. Gian says, hi, Doctor. Hi, LLG. Smiley face. Hi, Kenty. And everybody's I just love this. Good afternoon. Yeah, you guys are ahead of us in your time. Good evening to everyone of my American friends. And good morning to you in Asia. Johan says, thank you. Love it. Y'all, this thing is so good to me. This blueprints, this is what is needed. Is if you look at the statistics, if you look at the numbers, people are motivated. They go to a conference, they go to their doctor, they have some event, and they have motivation at that moment. And they go home and they start, and they do it for a while, and they have some measure of success. But is the wherewithal to sustain it, to keep it going. That's where things you don't usually turn out. And so we want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for the best possibility of success and to be around for all those things that are so, so important. And that's what the Triple E Formula for Success says, that we educate, we empower, and we encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, go to the next level, create the life you've always wanted, and to be around for a long, healthy life. This week, as we go through, we will start our fasting tomorrow. Come up with our pop-up. Come on, join us. See what I eat for the last time before I get into the fast. We'll do our 33-hour check-in on Wednesday night at 9 p.m., 56-hour check-in on Thursday night, 9 p.m., and then we'll be back on Friday as we do the entire fast, how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast, and how to break the fast successfully. We'll have pop-ups as we go through all of those, and I want you to know this, that everything that we do is designed to help you have a long, healthy, fulfilling life. I look forward to seeing you in the community. Look forward to hanging out with you. Once again, for those of you who've been following us on the Move campaign, go back for this week and watch those videos that we did, the last 7 videos. And we're coming back as we move forward. We're a little off schedule, but don't let that stop you, right? You can still move. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at that promo, and then we'll be out of here. Good night, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see you in the community. For the community members, we'll have that link up for you in just a moment. Welcome to Move, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started.